Today on the show, rejected again. The NCAA rejects Colorado and Syracuse's spring game proposal. We're going to kind of, spring position preview the secondary, what is going on with college head coaches, and much more. Let's go. Driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. It is DNVR Buffs Live. Hump day. How we feeling, dog?
Hey, man. Dynamic duo back in the cut.
We're back. Let's go.
I feel like we never left. How you feeling, brother?
Great, man. Great. It's, we're getting there. We're working through this offseason. We're about a week and a half away, though, from things kicking off.
We are 12 days away, brother.
Oh, man.
From the beginning of Colorado spring practices, bro. Just 12 days away. Less than 2 weeks. Feels like it's been a while since we've had a real life football to talk about, but it is right around the corner, and I can't wait to get into it, man.
Me too, brother. We're going to be talking ball today. We got a lot to talk about in terms of head coach movement in the college ranks. Yeah. What is going on with these coaches? Something in the water. We'll talk about the secondary, corners, and safeties, previewing that for the spring. But yes, we start today with this joint spring game being denied once again by the NCAA. Brent Schrotenbauer of USA Today, he actually published this yesterday, but it really kind of news caught on this morning. That, of course, Coach Prime and Fran Brown at Syracuse, they were both very public last offseason talking about this. And it seemed like things were maybe closer than they actually were last spring.
For sure.
And then that gets denied, a couple of weeks up until the spring game. And then this year, we kind of had that hope. It wasn't really talked about as much. And it turns out once you get into this article, which we will dig into, this was actually denied in January.
Yeah, January 22nd, it says, was the day that the committee came to this decision in a video conference.
A lot to get into here, just initial takeaways, though.
Another L for the NCAA?
Of course.
They just keep stacking L's? I just don't understand this because when last year, when this idea came about, it made sense when the NCAA kind of said no because it was kind of last minute.
Yeah.
Right? And that was the reason that they gave last year.
Because we were in spring, right?
Exactly right. Practices. We were in the middle of spring practices, right? So last year, the Oversight Committee noted that the late timing of the request in March 2025, so they tried to put this request in March. They said then that it wouldn't be fair to other schools who had already started or completed spring practices and didn't get the same opportunity. So that reason doesn't apply this time around. Ain't nobody started spring practice yet. And I think also, too, the part that's frustrating is that, like I said earlier, it made sense to me last year, the denying of it, because it was last minute.
Yeah.
That a whole year.
I know.
A whole year to kind of figure this out and figure out how you can get everybody who wants to do it a way to do it. So it's unfortunate because I think this would have been really cool. And I think this could have kind of set a new standard of how college football does the spring and particularly spring games by making it a competitive game against another similar opponent. But the NCAA going to do what the NCAA going to do, which is nothing that a lot of people like.
They've been on a hot streak of it recently.
Yeah.
You can start that comment from Shelly. We'll talk about that here in a second. To dig into this article, though, there are some quotes from the NCAA side. Again, it was a January 22nd video conference. Nothing was really reported until this week or found out about even until this week on those exact reasons, as you said. Quote, circumstances do not warrant relief of the legislation, which currently prohibits joint spring practices according to the written NCAA rationale for denying the request. It's a kind of committee decision, right? I mean, you have so many committees with the NCAA, this football oversight committee, and they make a lot of the rules and stuff. But what's going on with all the lawsuits and whatnot? Here's who's this? The athletic director of Buffalo actually said it. Goes, if 2 teams are doing it, what that would lead to is, gosh, if Syracuse and Colorado are doing this, why can't Florida State and blah, blah, blah school do it? Brother, you had a year.
Yeah, well, they can.
Like
do
you
it.
said. And this is like a failure on the other schools, in my opinion, because if other schools like came to the table with similar proposals, it could have like put a fire under the NCAA's feet to like almost, we can't even deny this if so many schools are like setting this up. And now there's things like ticket sales and TV broadcast and travel and like advertise. There's a lot of other like hoops and things to jump through in order to get this thing actually off the ground. But yeah, it's kind of just laziness from the NCAA.
Yeah, bro. And again, it says here in this article as well that Colorado and Syracuse filed the request earlier this year to avoid the decision that they got last year of basically saying that it was too last minute, and they still got denied, but for a different reason. Basically saying that this time around, the committee wants to review the whole football calendar for possible changes. Something y'all could have been doing that people have been clamoring for y'all to do for years.
Yes.
And now y'all want to do it and drag your feet and, at the expense of 2 programs who have clearly put a lot of thought and planning into this potential idea. And you as the NCAA, this committee, are basically saying, we're just not ready for that right now. When it don't even impact you, bro.
I know. I do like look, if you're going to bring up any reasoning, fixing the calendar, in my opinion, is about as good as it gets, because that is the number one issue in the sport right now, I think, is the timing of everything and how a lot of it doesn't make sense, and how, we're having players commit out of the transfer portal and like school admissions folk are like not even working because it's winter break type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense right now, but I think that this is something that, there's obviously momentum though, right? Like, for sure. Yes, it sucks and it's bad and the NCAA sucks, all this stuff, but another year of this kind of mounting up, and if you do fix the calendar, like maybe it becomes something more where it's like not just a spring game, maybe it's like a week or 2, almost like NFL style joint practices. You know what I mean? That's real work as opposed to one like glorified spring game where things are going to be put in a safe and sound environment, and getting some real practices in, and for like over a week too, like that would be real, actual beneficial work for these teams.
For sure. And I think also too, Colorado kind of laid out some reasons of why this could really be beneficial for both sides. They noted that spring scrimmages against other teams are allowed at the D2 level. They talked about the fact that it would help reduce each team's risk of injuries to players, because you'd only have 11 players for one team on the field as opposed to having 22 on the field. So that in itself should, you would think, make the NCAA say, if we can save injuries, why not do this? And I'll also say this too. I wonder how much the fact that it's Deion, Coach Prime Sanders, and Fran Brown trying to lead this charge is impacting.
This is what we talked about last year.
Exactly. Because I think if Dan Lanning and Ryan Day came together and said, you know what?
Well said.
We want to do a spring game.
Sure.
Air it on ESPN. It'll be a whole event. I feel like the NCAA would be like, well, what can we do? Sure. You guys got it. You guys got planning. Do it. But for some reason, for the second year in a row, when the first time you were told no, you fixed all that. You got the request in earlier. You added more plans. You noted all the benefits that both teams could have by doing this, and the answer is still no. Yeah. And it just makes you think, or it makes me think, I should say.
No, it definitely does. This is what we talked about last year. I mean, and it's literally, it might just be a black and white case. Who knows? But
literally, figuratively.
Yes. Pun intended. But we'll see. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is too that like we never really heard as much momentum from other 2 schools as we did Syracuse and Colorado too, right?
And that's, I guess, another interesting thing too. Why not? Do other schools not think it's a good idea?
I don't know.
Or I would be interested to see or hear what some other Power 4 coaches feel about the topic.
Well, so I know for a fact, like, I mean, he's not there anymore, but like Hugh Freeze at Auburn brought this up a few years ago. Like, this isn't necessarily a new idea. Like, Coach Prime, I think, mentioned it when he was at Jackson and stuff too. Like, this is something that's been proposed and thrown around for, I mean, probably longer than anyone actually really knows. No doubt. Like, this is something that NCAA has been aware about, that teams have, shown interest in. And for whatever reason, they've dragged their feet on it. I mean, any positive innovation, they seem to just always drag their feet when it comes to. So, but I think that's why this has gone so far for Colorado and Syracuse, is because there were a lot of plans put into place, man. Like a lot more than that has publicly come out too. Like,
right.
And to answer your question, Shelly, and someone else asked it too, like, I think if they really wanted to, they probably could make it happen. Like, just say, screw the NCAA. We've worked out the logistics. We'll figure this all out.
Yeah.
But because you are still under that umbrella, and you'd obviously have the Big 12 and then the ACC involved, and so it'd be two different conferences, and like then you get into the actual like fairness, quote unquote fairness of it, because it is just two teams, each in different conferences that would absolutely have an advantage, I think, right?
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
Just working against another team, just trying some stuff out, like, shoot, having a true almost evaluation of your players at that point in time too. You know what I mean? Like,
and I guess that's probably, I think that's illuminating, because that is probably the perspective of some of these coaches who don't want to do it. They probably don't want to do it, and they're like, well, if we're not doing it, we can't allow anybody else to do it, because that gives them an advantage.
Exactly.
And this committee that you talked about has 19 members. It's chaired by the University at Buffalo AD.
Okay.
Wait,
so this is the committee, the oversight committee or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
19 members. It includes Illinois head coach Brett Bielema. It includes Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee. It includes the Miami Hurricanes AD, the Georgia AD, the Wisconsin AD. It's just interesting to me that particularly the head coaches don't want to do this. But we'll see what ends up happening.
For sure.
It would have just been lit, man.
Of course it would.
My God, man. That would have been so fire, bro. You had that on ESPN. I know ESPN would have loved to have it.
Absolutely.
It would have done numbers, or certainly would have done more numbers than any other event that would have been taking place on ESPN at, say, April 19th or whatever. Just throwing out a date.
It's 4 words, bro. It's college football in spring.
Exactly.
That's all you need to know.
Exactly. And I feel like they're already, particularly like some of the bigger Power 4 schools, like they're already airing spring games.
Right.
What's stopping this? I don't understand it. And I wish we got a better answer.
Completely. And, who was it? Mike Elko was talking recently about how he was basically just saying, we need a commissioner. We need someone in charge. Yeah. And it's never been more apparent. And I don't know, I feel almost ridiculous saying it, because this is what we say almost every time we talk about any overarching college football issue, because it's the fact, it's just so apparent though. Like no one is steering the ship, and you can have as many committees and conference commissioners and all this stuff as you want. You need a driver, like one person at the end of the day to kind of just, the buck stops with them or starts with them type of thing.
And not just anybody.
We don't have that.
And not just anybody either.
Of course.
We've thrown out some names.
Yes.
I think Nick Saban is maybe a pipe dream. I don't know if Miss Terry would even allow him to do that.
Probably not.
You know what I'm saying? But it's got to be something. What do you make of the idea of them just saying F it and doing it anyway?
I mean, it sounds great. It would never happen, of course.
It just wouldn't be worth the potential penalties that would come. Because then all of a sudden the NCAA would actually try to do something at that point.
Sure, and also like, I do think it's very ambitious, the fact that it's Colorado and Syracuse too. Like, that's just a lot of like, I think there's logistics that could be worked out to make it easier for everyone involved. And also, like last year we talked a lot about like, why not just invite Mines or invite like CSU Pueblo? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even have to be a Division I team, and maybe you can throw out the possibility of injuries or whatever in that situation too. But there are some. This isn't that hard, is the point of the thing.
Bro, no, it's not.
So,
but we said that a lot about a lot of things in regard to the NCAA.
And as we'll get into later in the show, college head coaches seem like they've had enough of it too.
Fed up.
All right, let's take our first break, and we'll continue the show on the other side. Shout out to our friends over at Bet365, the place to get in on the action. Olympics right now. We got Olympic hockey on the screen right now. And right now at Bet365, you can get in on the action on all the Olympics, NHL when it comes back. And you are a winner with their early moneyline payout offers if your team gains a 3-goal lead. Same thing applies to baseball. It's actually 5 runs in baseball, but Man, it's one of my favorite things about Bet365 is that early money line payout offer. I'd be hitting that up for football season all the time. Definitely. So get in on it right now. And new customers with our friends over at Bet365 can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Just sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, and then place a bet of $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on anything: spread, totals, player props, futures, SGPs, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
And shout out to the squad, our good friends over at Common Spirit Sports Medicine, man. This is a message for all my athletes out there, all my weekend warriors, and really just anybody who loves to move, or for anybody who might be experiencing sports injury, chronic pain, man.
It's time. Go get checked out.
Common Spirit Mountain Region is the place for you, man. It's home to an incredible sports medicine program, including their new sports center, Common Spirit Health, in Parker, Colorado, man. This is a team of qualified and passionate providers who specialize in the diagnosis, the treatment, and the prevention of all sports-related injuries for all athletes, including some Denver Broncos players, man. This isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about preventative care. It's about performance enhancement and getting you back to peak condition safely and quickly. So don't let an injury keep you on the bench, or even better, man, get proactive about your health. It's time. For more information, visit mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
All right, back on the show. Yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. Again, the only thing I will add and I guess emphasize, the fact that they mentioned the calendar and working out the calendar, I really do like that because...
We'll see.
I agree, but it is the biggest issue in the sport right now.
Definitely. Definitely.
Maybe not the biggest, but the most...
Yeah, I would argue to say it is.
It's one of the most fixable issues in the sport right now.
Well said.
Yesterday we talked linebackers. Let's kind of put a bow on it. Again, we are 12 days out from spring football. So, yesterday, if you missed it, go check it out. I'm talking mostly Tyler Martinez, but a little bit of like a spring position preview for them. Go ahead and put up that tweet if you got it, Dion. So PFF put out their highest graded transfers at the linebacker position. Number 3 ends up being Gideon, ESPN, Lampron. I can't see the grade specifically, but I mean, he's up there. Rasheem Biles is number 5, I believe. He's obviously the guy in the picture. He was someone who was also in play until Leona Leafau comes in and commits out of nowhere, pretty much. So,
it's hard for me to imagine many, if any, linebackers graded out higher than Rasheem Biles did last year at Pitt.
Yeah. He was a monster.
He was a monster. Yes. But Gideon is one of them. So is he. Was a monster in his own right last year. I had to tweet earlier this week, we've talked about stops, right?
Yes.
Pro Football Focus uses stops to define any tackle that results in a failure for the offense. Gideon had 65 of them things, bro. 65 stops.
Insane.
Second most among FBS linebackers. And, that's pretty much more than half of his tackles were failures for the offense.
Yes.
Which is crazy to think about and wrap your mind around. He is going to be what this defense desperately needed last year. And I'm excited for him, for Leafau as well. Obviously, Tyler Martinez, who we talked about a lot yesterday. I saw Rodney Colton post a photo of him working out today. He cannot be forgotten. Neither can Carson Crawford. This linebacker room, I think, was an Achilles heel of this team last year.
Absolutely.
And you can point to a few different areas, a few different position groups with that in mind. But they addressed it in a big way. And I'm almost to the point where I think it might be looked at potentially as one of the strongest position groups on this team, if not the strongest, at season's end.
Man, I mean, if that happens, they're going to win a lot of games.
It would be a godsend. Yes,
they're going to win a lot of games.
Yes.
On that graph, if you could pull it up real quick one more time, Dion, the linebacker graphic. Your boy, Ethan Wazlowski, leads the list. Former Mean Green linebacker for the Cowboys.
Where he going? He's going to...
That's Oklahoma State at the top for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that. He's the number... Oh.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling y'all right now, bro. Oklahoma State is not going to be played with this year. I'm telling y'all. That's going to be a battle.
Jacob Rodriguez is out, but Austin Romaine is the number 8 player there, the former K-State linebacker who ended up at Texas Tech. So Big 12 representation on this list is impactful. That's and crazy. Is something that is, I mean, look, the PFF guys said it in the 2024 season. The Big 12 is pretty much about stopping the run and running the football.
Yeah.
It still is. And that's why these linebackers were, paid a hefty penny to come play in the Big 12.
No doubt. And again, I just can't wrap my mind around the fact that if Gideon and Coach Prime never got on the same flight,
I know.
he wouldn't be here.
Destiny's a crazy thing, ain't it?
It truly is, man.
All right, let's talk about this secondary.
Let's do it.
The linebackers were the Achilles heel. The cornerbacks did not help last year. In terms of the missed tackles, the ridiculous number, what was it, 130 last year, right?
That's exactly right. There were 130 missed tackles last year from this Colorado football team. The top 2 leaders in missed tackles on this Colorado football team last year, ironically, played cornerback.
All right.
And you can go further and say the top 4 leaders in missed tackles last year all played defensive back. 2 safeties, 2 corners.
Yep.
Those 4 guys combined to miss was 18 plus 25. 43?
Yeah.
Those 4 guys combined to miss 43 tackles last year. None of those guys are back on the team here in 2026, but that is an area that can certainly be better.
Yes.
An area that just has to simply be better if you want to improve as a defense.
Look, if you ain't going to stuff to the second level and the third level's letting them run through, a lot of the scores and the yardage totals from last year end up making a lot of sense from 100%. That perspective. So, yeah, man, look, this is clearly, it was part of the goals of the offseason was the corners in particular, right? Like losing Tawfiq Byard, of course, that sucked. But again, that's a safety. And in terms of the money paid at that position, you were able to find pretty similar production of obviously at a lower level.
Right.
But Tawfiq Byard, this is the same instance last year coming from USF, right? From the American Conference up into the Big 12. It's more CUSA and, SEC and, Rando and stuff. But
for sure.
Either way, the cornerbacks, in terms of what we've seen from them too so far, you're getting some guys who are going to fit that, the measurables side of things, right? Starting with our guy, Justin Eaglin.
Yes, sir.
We'll get to the safeties, but in terms of the corners, this had to be your prize commit.
Yep.
Obviously, someone with CFP experience, good experience or good production on the football last year. An older player, a typical build too. I think he's around 6 foot.
Yep.
Has a great wingspan, and just proven, right? JMU, obviously, it's what is it? What are they? Sunbelt, I think, something like that.
I think that's right.
It is a bit lower level than even the American conferences of the world, but this is a player who is going to be he's ready for the moment, man. Played in 11 games, 3 starts in 2025. That was prior to 2025, where he became a second-team All-Sunbelt selection. 11 starts, 35 tackles, 5 interceptions, 13 passes defensed, and a blocked kick.
Yeah, man. You mentioned the size, 6'1", all-conference last year. Just a ball hawk. 5 picks. Obviously had 1 in the CFP. Had, I think, 9 PBUs, which is crazy. Crazy numbers of, just getting your hands on or around the football. And this is a guy who was targeted a lot last year. Yeah. He was targeted 69 times. Only allowed 35 completions, though. So you're throwing against Justin Eaglin, you're completing 50% of your passes.
Yep.
At best. And a lot of times, he's getting his hands on it. And it might go the other way, like it did one time this year where he had a pick 6. And when I think of Justin Eaglin, I think of what Coach Prime said at some point this past season, where he was talking about the cornerback position that he knows better than anybody.
Sure.
A lot of cornerbacks play to not get beat. Coach Prime is looking for the cornerbacks who play to make a play.
Yep.
That's Justin Eaglin. He plays to make a play. You're throwing at him, you are taking a risk that he might take that thing the other way or get his hand on it for a PBU. So the size, he checks that box. The experience, the production, he checks those boxes. Has experience playing at a high level in the college football playoff as well for a really good team, a really good defense last year as well. We were just talking to, his agent, before the show. Rutgers, Auburn, A couple of the schools that are eluding my memory right now, but he chose Colorado. Notable schools.
Yeah.
He chose Colorado partly because of, Coach Prime, but partly because he knows that this was a team, a secondary, that lacked what he possesses.
Right.
In terms of the ability to make plays when the ball is thrown your way. So I'm really excited about Eaglin. He strikes me as an instant impact guy and likely a day one starter.
I agree, man. And look, we're just sticking with the transfers right now. We will get to the returners here in a bit. Cree Thomas, though, is when you talk about the secondary in Colorado, again, they play them young, right? Whether it's out of the recruiting ranks or it's out of the transfer ranks. Kendrick Breedlove is someone who, we don't really talk about. He didn't really play the best here, but he was kind of thrown out there early in that 2023 season. Preston Hodge was, of course, an older guy. DJ McKinney, though, when he came here, I think he only really had a start in a bowl game under his belt.
He was a redshirt sophomore.
Exactly.
With only a couple of starts under his belt before he got here.
Yep. And then he ends up becoming a starter here as well. Obviously, he's moved on. But Cree Thomas is kind of the next guy from the portal with that type of pedigree, right?
Yeah.
Was pretty highly recruited as a pure recruit. He ends up committing to Notre Dame. Are you going to say something? Oh, my bad. Only played in 3 games, redshirted last year. So he's going to have pretty much all of his eligibility. Mm-hmm. You got Emery Floyd as well. This is another type of vet, though.
Yes.
Someone who has played quite a bit of football. Was at South Carolina the year before. Also played at Appalachian State. He earned all Sun Belt honorable mention when he was there at App State. Also, Paul Amodia coming in. I mean, last year it didn't really work with some of the guys who came up from the lower levels, but you're getting another kind of all-conference FCS type of player in him. Jaja Boyd, of course, Indiana. So we haven't even touched on the returners and the recruits.
Right.
But already I feel better with the experience and the pedigree of these transfers coming in, just compared to the shakiness that we were at last year with that room.
No doubt. I would put Cree Thomas and Jason Stokes Jr., who you didn't even mention as well, kind of in the same bucket of, highly recruited guys who are coming from very respected programs.
Mm-hmm.
Cree coming from Notre Dame, Jason Stokes Jr. coming from Utah, both young guys who, just didn't see the field, or at least a ton defensively as true freshmen, but in Stokes' case, played a lot on special teams. Cree did get some garbage time snaps as a true freshman at Notre Dame last year. But those are 2 guys with just real potential and upside. Again, you don't commit to go to Notre Dame as a cornerback for no reason. You don't commit, as a cornerback to go to Utah, I don't think for no reason if you're not talented. So those are 2 guys who maybe can be looked at as wild cards, maybe flyers, who could potentially turn into the blue chip guy that Notre Dame, Utah thought that they were getting. So I think those are 2 guys that you should keep an eye on. But I think Amodia is another guy who I think has starter potential. Mm-hmm. This was a guy who was targeted a bunch last year. And like Eaglin, had a lot of on-ball kind of production.
Yes.
I believe Amodia, like you mentioned it, all Southland Conference, I believe, led the conference in our favorite stat, forced incompletions.
Passes defended.
Passes defended. Right. But I mean, again, I'm just looking up his numbers right now. He was targeted. Where is this at?
He did have
66 times. 31 completions given up. You're throwing at Paul Amodia, you're completing 47% of your passes.
Take those odds.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those times, 12 PBUs, I think it ended up being like more so close to 14. But that is somebody who is used to being on an island, used to attracting, guarding, defending another team's best receiver. And this is another guy with the size, checks that box, 6'2".
Yes.
195 pounds. So he might, I would think, be the biggest probably corner, measurables wise, on this roster. Started his career at Illinois State, really balled out last year at Lamar. I think you got a solid group of guys making that leap up a level. And, like I mentioned with Stokes and Cree, the guys who might have the pedigree that are just maybe need an opportunity to realize their potential.
Totally. Let's hit our next break. We'll talk about Preston Ashley, the young players, Rando, the safeties, and, of course, Boo Carter on the other side. Shout out to our friends over at Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR, man. They've been riding with us for so long. I mean, we're just like part of the same family at this point, right?
Definitely.
Man, shout out Toyota. And they got those branded Tacomas that we've seen at golf events and stuff, making us look a little bit better than we actually are. But that's just what Toyotas do, man. Not only are they safe, reliable, versatile, but you're going to be looking styling, driving down the road or up through the mountains, wherever you're headed out here in the great state of Toyota. Just perfectly made, or Colorado, I should say, perfectly made for Toyotas, though. They got 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, including the Epic 4Runner. Or maybe you're looking for, a more, low-emission, zero-emission vehicle. They've got more than any other automaker combined. So they've got all the choices ready for you over at Toyota. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
And shout out to our new friends, our good friends, over at Benihana, man.
Let's go.
Jake, let me tell you something, bro. I know Valentine's Day just passed.
Yeah.
And I know there's some of my dogs out there who might be in the doghouse. I don't know. I'm falling out of Valentine's Day. And let me tell you, man, if you're trying to get back in the good graces of your partner, man, take them on down to Benihana, folks. Especially
look at this
during happy hour, bro. The Denver and Broomfield Hibachi locations, Benihana locations, happy hour, 3 to 6 p.m., man. This is, includes specialty rolls, cocktails, premium bites, man. You can get the most premium steaks from all around the world, seared right in front of you, bro. From Japan, from Australia, from the United States of America, bro. And it's honestly even better when you finish them off with one of Benihana's favorite butters, man, like that hot honey or that lobster butter. So slide over to Benihana, man. Make your reservation and find out more information at benihana.com.
All right, back on the show.
We back.
Again, they play young players in the secondary, particularly at corner. Preston Ashley. Presto money, man. I mean, him, Maurice Williams as well. Am I forgetting someone else in the secondary from the recruiting ranks? But either way, do not sleep on those guys and their impact for Colorado this season, this spring in particular, too. You're going to see a lot of one-on-ones. You're going to see a lot of reps of, really just bombs, throws over the top, and guys trying to make plays on both sides of the ball just in the IPF this spring. I mean, you know the deal at this point.
Definitely.
Braylon Edwards also. He's more so safety or nickel, I would suppose. But either way, keep an eye out for these guys and, Presto Money. I mean, he's obviously one of the, he's just below Carson Crawford in terms of the most highly touted recruit coming in from this cycle.
No doubt, man. I like the secondary ads in this 2026 recruiting class. Obviously, Preston Ashley, I think, is somebody who, when you look at the moves that the Colorado football program made via the portal in the secondary, it kind of makes you believe that they believe that Preston Ashley can play right away.
Yeah.
Because you didn't go and add the level of players, like, say you added at receiver or linebacker, like you did in the secondary. You took the Amodia from Lamar, right? You grabbed the Justin Eaglin from JMU, two really good players. But
Boyd and Stokes, who never really played that much.
Exactly right. So, again, I think those moves, at least to me, signal that they believe Preston Ashley can make an impact right away. And maybe to a lesser extent, maybe Maurice Williams Jr. as well.
Yeah.
Mojo, as he likes to be called.
Okay.
So I like that. And I think that is a position group that when the second level is improved, the linebackers are improved, and the defensive line is improved, it's going to make those guys' job in the back end just so much more easier.
Totally. I'd be very interested. I don't know if we can find this on PFF. I'm sure they have something like it. Where Colorado ranked in terms of time to throw on the defensive side of the ball, because it wasn't great, obviously, for the secondary last year. There were some big plays, but honestly, I think all in all, like besides the tackling, I don't think they played necessarily that bad in like coverage, right? I think it was a lot of the fact that there was zero pass rush. When there was any type of pass rush, they had the blitz, and there was usually hardly any over the top single high or too high help because they were just allocating those players to rushing the passers. So I would, if I had to guess, I'd imagine they'd have a pretty, long still time to throw, because I feel like quarterbacks were allowed to kind of look through the field and just pick a guy. It's hard to plaster onto a receiver for that long. Guys just naturally get uncovered when you're having to cover for 5+ seconds or whatever it is. So
no doubt.
I'd be interested to see that, because it did feel like, if the quarterback had 3+ seconds to throw, chances of a big play were more likely than not.
For sure. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of quarterbacks who got off on Colorado last year.
Well,
it's passing.
But it's like scrambles too, though. You know what I mean? Like
you look at their losses, Haynes King didn't really kill them as a passer,
right,
in week 1. Wegman certainly didn't.
Right.
Bear Bachmeier certainly didn't. Mm-hmm. Josh Hoover kind of did. That would probably be the one game where the secondary kind of did get torched.
Yeah.
But that's also going against Hoover and McAllister, two really good receivers.
Dwyer,
in a strong quarterback. Iowa State, obviously, they held up well. Utah, Denver didn't even need to throw the ball in that game. And Fafita kind of played well as well. Mm-hmm. But, aside from Fafita and Hoover, there weren't a bunch of breakdowns in terms of coverage in the secondary. Right. Now, it's partly because teams were able to run damn near at will on this team.
Of course.
And they didn't have to. But that just kind of, I think, speaks to how important what we talked about yesterday is. Mm-hmm. These guys at linebacker. These guys who we're going to talk about soon enough on the defensive line, particularly on the interior. Because if you can't stop the run, you're not a good team.
You're making it easy.
Exactly right.
Okay. They talked a lot about Boo Carter on Monday. We'll, of course, talk about him here. But let's talk about kind of the returners, too, and at corner before we actually move on to safety. R.J. Johnson, though, we got to talk about him. Mm-hmm. And we got to talk about Makari Vickers. Two guys who I would say probably not as much as you would want to see, but there were flashes at times last year, right? And there were, in RJ's case, flashes the year before, too.
Yeah.
And you just look at him, and he looks like a cornerback.
Oh, yeah.
And, Makari Vickers, again, don't discount what he was going through in terms of the heart surgery and the lack of reps that he got this time. He was not participating this time last year at all.
No, he was not.
So this is huge for him and his development. And the fact that those guys stuck around, man,
Yeah.
Look, there's a real value in playing cornerback for Deion Sanders. I think we all understand that. And they realize that as well. And so good for them on not transferring. And also just don't sleep on them to have a massive offseason and all of a sudden maybe become the players that we thought they could be all along.
You say it all the time, man. And I really mean it whenever I say it. Growth is not linear.
Yes.
Doesn't happen in a straight line. Doesn't go straight up this way. Doesn't go straight the other way. There are bumps and bruises, for lack of a better word, that go on in a young man's life as they're trying to turn into the player that they want to be. And I think we saw no flashes from RJ 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. He started this past year, week 1, for a reason.
Right.
And obviously he dealt with some injuries that kept him out for a majority of the year.
Got to tackle better.
And that goes for everybody.
Of course.
For everybody who's returning. But Makari Vickers, this is a guy who started his career at Oklahoma.
Yep.
He's another kind of highly recruited guy. Mm-hmm. Started his career in the SEC.
Absolutely.
And this is another guy who, whenever I think of Makari Vickers in my mind from last year, all I do is see him with that big ass club on his hand.
Yes, for sure.
And how the hell is you supposed to play cornerback?
Right.
Pretty much with one hand.
Yes.
So I give them the benefit of the doubt in that regard. Particularly RJ, man. I just refuse to give up on him. I believe he's built to the right stuff.
Me too, man. Me too.
And you mentioned those guys sticking around. It would have been very easy for RJ to hit the exit, especially after the guys who he came within already did, like Colton, like Brandon Hood.
Even DJ just
Flapjack as well.
Yeah.
He came with these guys, like he played with them in high school in Georgia, obviously. All those guys hit the portal, and he's still here. When he certainly had plenty of reason to maybe hit it this offseason after a disappointing 2025 campaign. So I think RJ Johnson is very much going to be a factor in this cornerback room this year, and I'm excited to see him bounce back, stay healthy, and put together a strong year. I
agree. Just talking through it right there, it's a really strong cornerback group. Let's talk about the safeties, though, because every season under Coach Prime, I think a safety has been the leading tackler of the defense. And in many ways, that same player has also been kind of the heartbeat of the defense, right? Yeah. It was Shiloh the first year, and people forget how good Shiloh actually was in 2023.
Thanks, bro.
he was balling, man.
He was.
Of course, he ends up breaking his forearm, misses most of the season the year after. But thankfully, Cam Sillman-Craig really goes on a tear, and in my opinion, was kind of robbed of some, all Big 12 Big 12 honors that year in 2024, leading the team in tackles and just making plays. I think of the Baylor game. I mean, not the Baylor game, UCF. It was late in the game, but man, seeing him take that ball all the way back, for the touchdown.
No, bro, the Baylor game, bro. If you remember, the play that ended the game when Travis forced the fumble on the goal line.
Massive tackle
If you remember, Sawyer Robertson pretty much had a walk-in touchdown, and Cam brought him down right at the 1 yard line. The next play, Travis forces that fumble. So, yeah, I mean, that's just one example of how massive Cam was for that defense that year.
It's the Rando show, and then shout out Nate Mitchell as well, too, right?
Yes.
I mean, those two guys are... Look, there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of starters and stuff right now. I think those have to be two of them and Boo Carter, who we'll get to as well. But, you bring Jaden Hardy in from Oklahoma as some nice depth as well. Maurice Williams, some places he's listed as a safety, Jaja Boyd, I've seen him listed as a safety as well, too. But these are guys who are pretty much going to be plug-and-play type of players. I mean, obviously, Ben Finnesseth still in the fold as well.
Yes.
He is dealing with that meniscus surgery or repair, I think, from the offseason. So we'll see if he's even available for spring at this point, too, because he's going to need some time off just to let that heal. But when you have Rando and Nate Mitchell, and if you want to go ahead and pull up that tweet, Dion, this is from, I believe, our guys who we get a lot of the conference data from. Yeah, Cam Miller
at PFSN.
Yeah, so this is the lowest catch rate allowed by CUSA safeties last year. Nate Mitchell was the third best. He allowed 48.7% catch rate. That's minimum 100 snaps in coverage with 10 targets. So this is a guy, I mean, you look at the stats too, just the pure production stats last year. This guy was around the football quite often. Obviously, a bit different of a player than Randon Fontenot, who is much bigger. Someone who you're going to feel much more comfortable putting in the box and allowing him to kind of fulfill multiple roles. But Nate Mitchell, 93 total tackles, had 3 interceptions, 6 passes defense, and 4 forced fumbles. Those 4 forced fumbles led Conference USA in forced fumbles. This guy's going to be around the football creating havoc.
No doubt about it, man. 3 picks last year, 3 PBUs as well. Targeted 39 times, 19 completions given up. So you're throwing in Nate Mitchell, you're lucky to complete 49% of your passes. And that kind of goes into that stat that you brought up there in terms of catch rate allowed. I love Nate Mitchell, man. I just love what – you already know how I feel about Randon Fontenot.
Oh, yeah.
Rando. Rando's the starter. Yes. I believe Nate Mitchell's a starter. Boo Carter is a starter.
Yep.
That's 3 of your 5 in the back end. I think Justin Eland's going to be a starter too, and you figure out
I agree
what the other cornerback spot is. But that secondary is nice.
Yes.
You got to all see it together, right? You got to see how they gel together. You got to see how they look in this defense under Robert Livingston here in Colorado as teammates, no doubt. But I really like that group, man, particularly those starters, those 4 guys that I just mentioned, man. Just ball players, man. You turn on their film and you just can't help but get excited. Instinctual.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nate Mitchell, we mentioned him being around the football in terms of making plays on the football, but he also led New Mexico State in tackles last year.
Yes.
This is just an all-around football player.
Yep.
An all-around safety. And you get New Mexico State's leader in tackles from last year, Nate Mitchell. Tyler Martinez led them in tackles in 2024, who obviously is in the fold now as well. So I really like where this secondary is at, man. And as much as a relative loss Tawfiq Byard was in the moment,
right?
Rando,
Facts.
And Nate Mitchell gonna make a lot of folks forget about the former number 7.
Absolutely.
Because I think Rando's a great candidate to be the next in line to wear that number.
Love that, man. David mentions, or was it David? Yeah, David mentions Braylon Edwards as well. Yeah. And he mentions Duncanville. Duncanville's a legit program, man.
Bro.
One of the best in Texas.
Bro, Braylon Edwards plays mean.
Yes.
He trying to take your head off.
Oh, yeah.
Pause. You know what I'm saying? He trying to apply pads and apply pressure. And I just love a dude who flies around with their hair on fire, so to speak, and that's certainly Braylon Edwards. That's a handful of these guys. Rando, Boo Carter, when he's locked in, no doubt. Headhunters, as somebody said in the chat. I really like where this secondary is. I'm going to say I like how the secondary is shaping up to look.
And then finally, Boo Carter has to be by far and away the leading candidate to start at the nickel. Mm-hmm. I think he's also be a candidate to wear 7. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a battle between him and Rando. Although I think Boo Carter's number is like 6, right? I think that's the one that he's been rocking.
I thought he was wearing 23.
Was it 23? Maybe.
Which tripping. Would be open.
Either way.
If he wants 23, he can have it. It's open.
Yeah, that's true. He's look, man, they talked about Dre and RK talked a lot about him on Monday and about how his athleticism is going to be game changing for this team. Just don't put a limit on what's expected out of him. I think that he's really settled in well with this program, and I think that the timing of him coming to Colorado and what happened at Tennessee and leaving Tennessee, the maturity is there, and I think that there's something to be said about kind of finding that maturity to be able to close a chapter and kind of start a new chapter of yourself too, right? And I think that from what we've heard, that's kind of what's been the case so far for Boo Carter. So clearly this is kind of where the rubber meets the road too, right?
Definitely.
Spring football, let's put the pads on. Let's see, showing up to everything, just purely locked in, all that stuff. But if you get through spring and, it wouldn't surprise me if another spring game comes and goes and we're looking at Boo Carter or some of these safeties and going, oh man, they got some players.
I think aside from Juju, Boo is the one player where you're like, if you get the very best version of that player, you're cooking with gas.
Oh, yeah.
I would put those two at the top. If you get the best version out of Julian Lewis and Boo Carter in 2026, this team is going to be scary.
Yep.
And this team is going to be something to reckon with. So I certainly believe in Juju. My thoughts on Boo I think I've made them clear. I'm a fan of the talent. I'm a fan of him. You just you want to see it all put together for a full calendar year, right? Because at times at Tennessee last year too, he would be seemingly locked in for a couple weeks.
Sure.
And something would pop up. And we don't obviously know the full story of everything, but it seems since he's been here in Colorado, it's been all good.
Yep.
And you just hope that continues, and maybe it will, just because he's in a different place and because Coach Prime is right down the hall, and he knows that this is his shot.
Yeah.
He said it to Darius, right? This is my 3rd year. If I do what I'm supposed to do right now, I'm gonna be in the league next year. And we know that's what he wants to do, and he certainly has the talent, the potential to do that. And, I just go back to the old adage, a wise man once said, 1 great year can change your life. Facts. And that is very much applicable to Boo Carter here in 2026.
David has the comment about Preston Hodge. Upgrade, maybe. They're just 2 different players. Preston Hodge is more so of a cover corner, right? Obviously a little undersized around that 5'10", 5'11" mark. Whereas Boo Carter is just, he's kind of an athletic freak.
Yeah, like 6'1", 200.
Yeah, like he is.
He looks like a running back.
For sure. Maybe not as much of a pure cover guy, but more so. Right. And again, no disrespect to Preston Hodge, but more so of like a complete football player in that sense. You know what I mean? Sure. Like in terms of an athlete, what you're going to be able to ask him to do, I think is going to be way more than you were hoping out of Preston. And again, going back to Robert Livingston and just like how this defense functions and how it functioned in Cincinnati under Lou Anarumo, Mike Hilton and multiple players out of the nickel, man, really made that defense run.
Definitely.
When you're able to just turn that nickel, that joker position, whatever you want to call it, into a just versatile blitzer, cover, box, safety, corner type thing, like it makes you so much harder to go up against and so much harder to get plays against, because that guy is just, especially when they truly get it, like mentally upstairs and have a full grasp of the defense, it seems like there's 4 of them all over the field at the same time.
Most definitely. And this is somebody in Boo Carter who's played over 260 snaps specifically at nickel corner in the slot in the SEC, at Tennessee, against the likes of Alabama and Georgia, Arkansas to a lesser extent. But something that, in regards to Boo Carter that I don't know if we talked about enough when we talk about him is his return ability too, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like, Quentin Gibson was great last year. He quite literally earned FCS, or not FCS, I'm thinking Ernest Campbell. Freshman, All-American honors as a returner. And but Boo Carter certainly got that in his bag as well. So I'm excited to see whether that looks more like kick return, whether it looks more like punt return. Maybe that's both. But that is somebody who could help your offense with field position.
Yeah.
Who could just be somebody that teams don't want to punt or kick to.
Yes.
Which could also help you in field position as well. Say you have Quinn on one side, Boo on the other.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
yeah, pick your poison.
Exactly right. Or kick that thing out of bounds.
Yep. Make sure they're going to kick it out of bounds.
So that's another thing that Boo obviously has in his bag of tricks, so to speak, that I think is going to be on display this fall.
Totally. I think we covered everyone for the most part.
I think so.
So there you go. There's the secondary. We'll do a couple more. Probably wrap up defense later this week, and then we'll talk offense next week. And then the week after that, we are on to spring football. We didn't talk about this. Do you have the Travis tweet ready, Dion? Go ahead and throw that up. So Cameron Wolf, shout out Cameron Wolf, by the way, former Denver Broncos beat reporter.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
How?
Bro, I'm telling you, it's crazy. They all start out here, isn't it?
I love Cam. I didn't know he started as a Broncos reporter. That's crazy.
Nah, he was, I think, Denver Broncos beat reporter during the Super Bowl run, like when Peyton was here.
That's crazy.
I've been following him ever since, so it's been cool to see him. Anyways,
I started following him when he was covering the Dolphins.
Yeah. That was the job he took right after Denver.
Yeah, true.
I actually don't even know what he's really doing right now. I think he's just covering national.
Yeah, I think he works for NFL football. Network. He's just like one of their correspondents.
That's right, NFL. Yeah. Anyways, he was out in Jacksonville and had a report last week that there is going to be some slight change to Travis Hunter's usage in 2026. Full-time cornerback, part-time wide receiver, which was kind of the direction it was going until he actually got going at wide receiver last year. And then they were like, all right, well, we're going to have him play some more, kind of full-time both. And then obviously Travis gets hurt in practice, goes down with the knee injury. Yeah, thoughts on, I guess, the usage change. Full-time defense, part-time offense.
I think we'll see. I trust Cam Wolf and his reporting, but I think we'll see.
Yeah.
I think this might be something that Liam Cohen has in his mind right now, or at least of a plan. But I just believe that Travis Hunter, if given a normal receiver workload in the NFL, could be one of the best in the NFL. Could be one of the very best, one of the most explosive. And we saw glimpses of that. Granted, it was maybe in garbage time in that game late against the Rams, but was out there frying folks up.
Yeah.
100+ yards. I think he had at least one touchdown. He might have had two. But the football fan in me wants to see him playing receiver more than anything. But I understand that he's a two-way player for a reason, right? He's been playing cornerback at a high level for a long time as well. And I don't know what they want to do with Brian Thomas Jr., right? Because he struggled this past year, and it seemed like they, especially once they traded for Jacoby Myers at the deadline.
Yeah.
Like, that was their guy, Jacoby Myers. And
Parker Washington went crazy this
for sure, and they love Strange at tight end as well.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I think we'll see what actually ends up happening with his workload and whatnot. But I just prefer to see him at receiver. But I can't necessarily fault a coaching staff for wanting to use his God-given talent at cornerback as well.
I'm about the same, man. It's really tough for me, I think, because I do think, like you said, he could be one of the best receivers in the NFL, full stop.
Yeah.
He just has rare ability to attack the football. And I understand wanting to use that on the defensive side, and it's just going to be easier on that side to learn the playbook, kind of just be fully locked down. But, and as Coach Prime said too, right, like, Travis is amazing at receiver, but he can roll out of bed and cover anyone pretty much. So I get it. It's just, again, Trevor Lawrence had a great year, and I don't think a lot of people expected him to have his great year. I certainly didn't, that's for sure.
Some people in the chat saying that Travis is the problem. He the issue.
I'm not quite there yet, but He played really well down the stretch, particularly against the Broncos.
Particularly once they traded for Jacoby Myers at the deadline.
Yes, for sure.
Second half of the year, he was on a tear.
I just don't know how Travis doesn't help that though, because again, it's almost like they're overthinking it so many times. Like when you're in the red zone, bro, just throw near him. I'm sorry. Sure. Like I don't need to see more Diami Brown. I don't need to see any more of these other receivers in the game. Throw the ball at Travis Hunter in the red zone, and good things will happen.
The thing that's annoying to me too, I agree with you, is that when he was drafted by the Jaguars, Liam Cohen.
Right.
One of the most brightest offensive minds in the league.
Yes. And
how you can't figure out a plan to get him consistently involved. Like, it just seemed disjointed. And even when they did give him opportunity, especially early on, it was all just screen and tunnel screen and bubble screen and short out. Like,
just a hitch in there.
Open it up, Liam Cohen. I know you can do it. And I know Travis can do it. So that was also weird to me. It's like, if this was, I don't know, the Seahawks, for example, right? Mike McDonald is their head coach. He's a defensive guy.
Sure.
I'd be like, okay. The defensive coach wants to use him on his side of the ball, and he's going to have a plan for him. But with Cohen being an offensive guy, and that just doesn't really make a ton of sense.
And the assets you gave up. I mean, the Browns have your first-round pick this year because you wanted Travis Hunter that bad.
Exactly right.
So,
Exactly right. And it's like, are you going to sit here and justify a year from now that you traded up to draft a cornerback
and
at number 2 overall?
Yeah.
I don't know. Even if Travis becomes what we know he can be, I think you traded up to get a two-way generational athlete.
Exactly, yeah.
Not a really, really good corner. So,
completely agree, man. We'll see what happens. Cam Wolf also, I think, reported he'll be full go for camp and all that, which was fully expected, but we'll see. Okay, other college football news before we wrap up today. What is going on with head coaches?
They fed up.
So let's start with this, because we mentioned the Montana head coach, Bobby Hauck, and how he, like, out of nowhere resigned and basically was saying, like, I just can't do it anymore. I can't do it in this current age type of thing.
He was complaining about the transient nature of college football nowadays and having to deal with agents and money and all that stuff. He was tired of it. So he says.
The quote was actually, I just haven't been enjoying it enough. I want to enjoy my career and my job. A lot of the head coach stuff in current day Division I college football is not enjoyable, along with a lot of what you said too. We didn't cover this last week. Literally a week after he said that, and we talked about it, so last week, he gets hired by Illinois as their DC, I think?
Yeah, he's their DC.
So he just got a promotion, essentially.
Depending on how you look at it. And I guess that
he did what Brendan Marion did for the most part.
You're right. I guess that quote, is a bit more illuminating, where he goes, being a head coach is just not fun.
True. He
chose his words wisely. He kind of dropped a hint if you was really parsing his words. So I guess I get it a little bit more from that perspective now. Everything that comes with a head coach, it's different than being a coordinator, a position coach, whatever. But hell of a hire for Illinois, Brett Bielema, though.
Absolutely.
Because Bobby Hauck is one of the longest tenured, most successful coaches in the FCS, won national championships, won a bunch of playoff games. And he don't play. That's a hard-nosed dude.
Facts.
And for a team like Illinois that needs, I believe, a hard-nosed identity as a football program to really compete in the Big Ten, I think it's a really good hire. But it's interesting, man. You know, hearing Hawk basically, like you said, complain about the sport, the nature of it, the state of it, and be like, you know what, actually, I'm just going to go over here.
And he's not the only one.
No, he's not.
Northern Illinois coach Thomas Hammock is set to join the Seattle Seahawks staff as a senior offensive assistant and running backs coach. He is also expected to become the NFL's highest paid running backs coach. And according to Pete Thamel this is Adam Rittenberg in ESPN. According to them, chose Seattle over multiple NFL opportunities. He interviewed for the Seahawks OC position. Seattle chose the tight end, their San Francisco tight ends coach and run game corner Brian Fleury for that job. But they obviously took enough interest in Coach Hammock to still offer him a position on the staff. This is, again, the guy who last year they beat Notre Dame in South Bend.
Yep.
He was very vocal at that point in time about things that maybe weren't going the right way in college football, and he had a viral quote about I think it was like the players and everything NIL related, whatever. He was complaining about the state of the game, which again, I understand for sure. But this isn't new. Also, who the BC coach is? He the Halfley, right?
Boston College.
Yeah, he was the
Bill
Boston
O'Brien's
College.
The Boston College head coach.
No, I know, but before him,
Halfley, Packers.
Yes, exactly. And then he just straight up left for a DC job.
Yep.
He had a Power 4 head coaching job, went to the Packers. I think he's somewhere else now.
I think he's with the Dolphins now. I think he's the Dolphins head
coach?
Now?
I think so.
I think he is. Yeah.
So it's crazy, but this is kind of what's going on. Then you have college basketball coaches just losing their minds half the time. What's his name? The UCLA guy went crazy. Yeah, he goes crazy yesterday. But you want to talk about this? Go ahead.
This is a real thing. Like, college coaches are leaving for the NFL. Mm-hmm. Like at a alarming rate.
Yes.
It obviously impacted Colorado.
Yeah.
With Dominic Pecco leaving. Mm-hmm. 2 years in a row now, Robert Livingston is interviewed for an NFL job as well. Mm-hmm. And these are legit head coaches leaving to be part of the staff, be a position coach in the NFL.
To work under someone else after you were the guy.
And it's crazy, especially for NIU. I feel bad for them, man, because obviously they just made the move to the
Mountain West,
which sounds ridiculous.
I know.
DeKalb, Illinois in the Mountain West.
But why are they not in the MAC? And why is Sac State not in the Mountain West?
Exactly right. And I saw somebody say that, like, this is a sign, like, there is maybe the worst job in college sports is a MAC head football coach right now. And granted, I wouldn't have applied to the NIU coach now because they're in the Mountain West now, but it's kind of the truth. Like, you're just kind of stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
You have a good player, you're going to lose them to a bigger program. And, and I guess it's just where we're at right now. And that's also why I think about, I like the two portal windows. Because if a head coach can leave on February 18th, let's call it 2 weeks before spring ball, and now they can't do a search. They're just going to have an interim who's their DC now.
Right.
And I guess I don't know how much we can talk about it, but obviously that opens up the window for NIU players now.
Yeah, the portal's open for them.
Exactly right. Which is crazy to be doing this on February 18th.
And look, it's a vicious cycle, and kind of with that, here's a couple players I think that if they wanted to, I think Colorado could potentially have some room for them. Two players in particular. Young players, too. We'll start with this one. Freshman Lazaro Rogers. He was listed at 5'10", 200 pounds last year. Only had a handful of carries. Played in 7 games. Had 33 carries for 189 yards, so he was around 5 yards per carry. He had a 76-yard run against, I believe, Miami.
I'm watching it right now. He took off on him, yep.
He is from Fort Myers, Florida, and East Lee County High School. Obviously a true freshman, I believe, last year. So, again, if he is someone that, fancies entering the portal.
He is.
Oh, he's in.
He tweeted today, "I'm officially putting my name in the transfer portal."
Oh, wow.
At 7:50 a.m. So that was kind of why he got on my radar. And you take a quick scroll on his Twitter page on December 22nd, which is a little less than 2 months ago. He reposted a tweet from Coach Prime. And that is kind of a common theme amongst Lazaro Rogers' Twitter page, where he reposts Coach Prime quite often, and maybe it is the Fort Myers connection.
I mean, Coach Prime's a god in Fort Myers, Florida.
So that's a name to keep an eye on. And again, I don't think this running back room is what anybody would call complete or finished.
Sure.
We like it, but yeah, I think you could certainly add another guy, particularly a young guy with with size, 5'10", 200. And the speed to take off for a 76-yard touchdown against Miami of Ohio, the Fighting Camperies earlier last year.
And then there's a cornerback. I don't know if this guy's into the portal or not, but James Little IV, listed at 5'11", 170. So depending on if he's playing in the slot or outside, we'll see if he fits the mold for Colorado. But he is also from Fort Myers, Florida. Played at Bishop Verot. I don't know how to pronounce that specifically. High school, was a true freshman last year, played in 7 games. as a true freshman. Only had 2 tackles. I mean, mostly playing on special teams, that type of stuff, but was on the field. So we'll see.
We will see.
Any updates on D-line, Coach? Nothing yet. Appreciate everyone hanging out in the chat. We had 1 super chat. Shout out to Toasted and Roasted, just dropping the 99-cent super chat. Appreciate you, man. Thank y'all for hanging with us and rocking and rolling this offseason. Anything else, Dion? Cool. Shout out to producer Dion, man. RK will be back tomorrow as well, I believe, so we'll have the full gang. But good show.
Good stuff, brother.
Hell yeah, man. All right, chat. Appreciate y'all. Be back tomorrow. Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.